Hey everybody, welcome to Significant Vloggers. This is the channel where my girlfriend and I, Emily Lewis, and my name is Daniel Kilby, we end up making videos about whatever piques our interest or curiosity throughout the week. So today's topic of choice, and this is a lesson to my girlfriend because this is going to be a channel we're trying to build together, and I figured this would be really helpful to have, is a quick tip pro guide to making YouTube videos, or shooting yourself in general, hopefully figuratively, not literally. So the points that I want to make are things that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you're trying to go in front of camera, that are different than maybe standing on stage or talking in a regular conversation. So some quick tips that you want to understand. One is emotion needs to be ramped up quite a bit. I am a very impassioned person, and I've moved audiences before. I have helped charities in motivational speakings. I've brought an entire room of about 500 people to tears, just with the impact of some of the things I've had to say. But it's different on film because when you talk like this, which is, my normal impassioned voice, I really want you to pay attention to what I have to say, because this is a more meaningful thing. It's a powerful thing. It comes off a little bit slower than would be the case otherwise, because in film you can't just talk like this. You can't just slow down your words and pretend like the audience is giving you feedback. Because oftentimes they're not. They're waiting to see what you have to say before they reply to you via text or something else. So you have to have a lot more excitement, a lot more energy. You have to pick up your pace in what you're talking about and go from there. Another detail that you might want to incorporate into your video making is that you need to pick a dot, an imaginary dot behind the camera that you're actually talking to, and you want to focus in on that dot as much as you can. And what that does is it allows you to look like you're paying attention to the audience. And that's who you're making these videos for, is your audience. You want to make them so that they pop out, so that they make sense, and so that people feel like they're being included in the conversation. Because people love to be a part of things bigger than themselves. And the easiest way to do that these days is via online. Although it does separate us in a lot of ways, it also connects us in some very unique ways that make people feel validated just in general. So talking in front of a camera is about making people feel appreciated and making people feel involved and making people feel like there's something interesting going on. So that's a quick tip as well. Some other things is to make a more dynamic shot, don't face the camera. If you face the camera dead on with your entire body, it looks very bland. And that's not quite as good. That's not quite as good to shoot. It's not as dynamic as it could be. Just tilting like this automatically gives me something a little bit more that pops out. So that's great. That's perfect. Also, tilt your chin down so that it's level with the camera itself. Because if you're up like this, it kind of looks like you're a little bit above the world and more important than anything else. But if I'm facing you and I'm talking like this and just really paying attention, it helps to emphasize a level of equality with the viewer. And that's perfect because every viewer wants to feel like, especially if you're popular enough, they want to feel like they're friends with you, because that makes them it validates them socially a little bit. For whatever odd reason, that's a thing that people they want to be a part of the greater thing, scheme of things, and that's a thing. So live with it. Other tidbits and points that you want to understand: you want to have enough of a proximity to the camera that the background is not right there. So my background could be a little bit further back, but as it is, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, sitting up as straight as I can, and giving as much dynamic distance between me and my background that it really emphasizes me, and that's really what you want to be doing as a vlogger or a YouTube star if you're trying to get there, and you go from there. So Those are some really great tips. Let's see, is there anything else? Yes, speaking of sitting up straight, if you slouch, you kind of look tired or underrepresented or just bored, and like you're not interested in this conversation. Not to mention, I look a little bit goofy slouching like this, so definitely sit up as straight as you can. It makes you look a little bit more presentable. It makes you look a little bit more friendly, and again, it's emphasizing that professionalism that you really want to get a hold of and a handle on. So those are some really great starter tips if you're trying to go from beginner and just barely getting in front of the camera to something a little bit more intermediate. And I want to emphasize this point in particular. I was horrible up until about 5 to 10 minutes ago at shooting videos. I was just absolutely abysmal because I couldn't get my head wrapped around the difference between shooting a video and talking in front of a live audience. So what really helped is a couple of links that I'll post down in the doobly-doo about how to make videos for YouTubers. And you'll notice that a lot of these points that I've come up with are just re-emphasized points from those other videos. So you'll notice a lot of consistency, and that's great. You might find a few more details that I've left out, like keeping your elbows in. It's not as important in this shot because my arms are not as visible. I really only am getting the torso up. But with me in particular, and my girlfriend comments on this, pretty regularly, my arms tend to flail around when I speak, and I'm told that's a very romantic thing. It's a very Latin language. Otherwise, it emphasizes with your entire body exactly what you're trying to say. But in video, it's kind of distracting. It doesn't really help to make people focus in on what you're talking about. So, Emily, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope that this has been such a great help to you, and maybe these videos will get, catch wind and become very popular. That would be awesome and amazing. But in the meantime, just know that I love you, and you are my significant vlogger, and I'm going to pass off the video to you now. Alright, take care.